Sometimes as we live this life, there are a lot of things that we have to learn. I've been seeing life, I've gone through many issues, and I've seen how life tends to bring us certain story. There are many things that are out of our controls, and we feel, and at times we ask ourselves, why are those things happening the way they are? And we fail even to comprehend and have an answer and solution towards those things. I've been betrayed by many people. I've been hurt by many people. As you know, in life, you go through up and downs. At times they hurt you even without cause. At times you are doing the right thing, but you find people doing the negative and the opposite thing, and you feel and you ask yourself, why are they doing that thing towards you if they knew or they have known the right answer? Amen. So most of the times we find ourselves being surrounded by many activities, many negativities. We surround ourselves with many things that happen in our lives. Amen. So in a spiritual life, we have to learn to do certain things, and we have to learn several things so that our life should be better. Amen. Because the enemy looks for any points of weakness to enter your life. He looks for any points of weakness to start controlling your mind. I thought about mind game. Amen. So as believers, we have to understand and realize that there are certain things we can do with, and there are certain things we cannot do without. Amen. So if you have allowed and we have allowed the enemies to enter through our lives, through the issues that surrounds our lives, we shall end up being victims. Amen. Not victors. Amen. Not having victory. Amen. So as believers, we have to understand certain things, and amidst all those things that I need you to understand is forgiveness. Life of a believer without forgiveness is like a suicide mission. Amen. Life of a believer without forgiveness is like suicide mission. So we have to learn to let go. We have to learn to forgive. It's very difficult. You may ask yourself, I've been in this relationship, and this guy have been treating me like this, and I felt if even God knows that this guy, I was going through pain. He knows the pain that this person has caused me. I know. It's very hard and it's very painful, and going through all those things is very difficult, and feeling the pain, feeling the betrayal, feeling being accused, feeling them pointing hands at you, being not understood, and people feel like you know nothing, and they cannot even realize the pain that you've gone through. At times we are betrayed in a relationship, pray at your job place, betrayed by our own pastoral relatives, betrayed by our siblings. At times we are hurt by those who least expect to hurt us. So it just really can hurt you to a point that you feel like it's the end of the relationship with that person. You feel like they are not seeing the way that you've seen. You feel like they are not understanding the pain that you've been going through. So it's just challenging and quite difficult for a person to go through all those things and try to seeing all things that surround their life. So in a life of believers, we are filled with pain, resentment, hurtful feeling every day. And much as we come to church, we feel like even in churches, the same church, we find siblings. They are having difficulties. They are having difficulties to understand certain things. Amen. It is quite difficult. Even you find pastors, they are filled with resentment, pain, and hurtful feeling. You find them failing to forgive each other, and you find even amidst servants of God, you find them pointing fingers, pointing hands, yet we know. And one thing I want to make a declaration that human beings, they have weakness. And once someone has hurt you, it doesn't mean that they are the one that have made that hurt. The enemy is behind it, and the target of the enemy is to ruin. having seen and I've been looking at how this thing flows, I've realized that this thing is too much, because once you see, it's like most of them are doing the same things. Amen. It's like most of them have concluded. You see, you can even move. There are certain spirits that I feel can control your life as a believer, because you find yourself, you ask yourself, why you? Because the same you, and you have repeatedly been betrayed by several people. Even some of them, they even don't know each other's background. Amen. But at the same time, they end up betraying you and speaking, and you feel hurt, and you feel like you should not forgive them. Amen. I felt those things as a believer, also seeing how life tends to bring us. I felt those things, and there are certain things that people they do, and they do it willingly, and knowing that they will hurt you.
Why are those things
and times reach